What starts as a routine reckless driving call is about to spiral into something much bigger. Deputies are responding to reports of a black Mercedes weaving into oncoming traffic, nearly causing a head-on collision. But when officers finally catch up to the vehicle, the driver doesn't react the way most people would. Despite lights, sirens, and repeated attempts to stop him, he continues driving as if nothing is happening. As this encounter unfolds, deputies are forced to determine whether they're dealing with a medical emergency, impairment, or something else entirely. Pay close attention to the driver's behavior because several warning signs begin appearing almost immediately, and they ultimately lead officers toward a decision that changes the course of the entire stop.
On July 16, 2023, FCSO Dispatch got a call about a black Mercedes doing a road dance into the wrong lane and nearly starting a head-on collision. Deputies raced to Old Kings Road and State Road 100 only to find the vehicle making an unexpected pit stop at Advent Health Palm Coast like it had an appointment for a checkup. Behind the wheel was 48-year-old Michael Alfonso looking like he'd just boogied out a happy hour.
Alpha 224 flag road, 1065, 1050 on that vehicle. It's gonna be 100, westbound at Memorial Medical. It's Florida tag, correction, Texas tag, Romeo Sierra Yankee 0297, RSY 0297. It's a black Mercedes, signal 12.
10-5 ground with them is turning into the hospital. 23.
Dispatch has been
14 flag. Can you show me out with the L25, please? 10.
Alpha 224 flag road.
Alpha 224.
The vehicle's still rolling. Can you go ahead and give us 1033 till further?
Talking about units, 1033 traffic on primary. All other units switch to teletype.
Stop the vehicle, pull over, do it now.
110, he's not fleeing, but he's not stopping. Is there anybody else in the town there?
Dispatch has been updated.
224, we got that vehicle stopped.
10 for still at the hospital.
What are you doing? What? We've had our lights and sirens on since I-95, and you've taken this long to pull.
At this stage, one of the biggest concerns for officers is not just the reckless driving report, but the driver's delayed response to emergency lights and sirens. In many traffic stops, drivers acknowledge police presence almost immediately, even if it takes a moment to find a safe place to pull over. Here, deputies are questioning why it took so long for the vehicle to stop despite multiple opportunities to do so. That's often viewed as a potential indicator of impairment, distraction, confusion, or even a medical issue. Notice how the officer remains focused on gathering information rather than jumping to conclusions. Based on what you've seen so far, do you think the driver knew officers were trying to stop him, or was something else going on?
The cops finally pull over the suspect, who clearly thought early red and blue flashing lights were just an aggressive disco invitation.
Any reason? Huh? Okay. You're driving all over the road too. You're not maintaining your lane. You almost blew through that red light. Are you having any kind of a medical emergency?
No.
What's that?
No.
Okay. Can you make a favor, shut the vehicle off? Shut your vehicle off for me. Shut your vehicle off. Turn the car off. It is a very simple thing I'm asking you to do.
This moment is significant because officers are giving a simple, lawful command that most drivers would comply with immediately: turn off the vehicle and hand over the keys. From a safety standpoint, officers want to eliminate the possibility of the vehicle suddenly moving or being used to flee. When the driver repeatedly refuses, deputies must quickly reassess the situation and consider alternative options. Notice that the officer remains relatively patient despite the resistance. Rather than escalating immediately, he transitions toward getting the driver out of the vehicle to better evaluate his condition. Situations like this can become unpredictable in seconds, which is why officers focus heavily on control and safety during roadside encounters.
Let me see your keys. Hand me your keys.
No.
Hand me your keys.
No.
Okay, step out of the vehicle for me. Step out of the vehicle.
With patience wearing thin, the officers decided on Plan B. If the keys won't come to you, just get the driver to come out, because why make anything easy?
Step out of the vehicle for me.
Come on out, bud. You okay? I'm still documenting the office because I haven't.
You can. Come on.
You all right?
No.
What's going on? What's up?
What?
What's going on?
I don't know.
Well, I asked you if you were all right, and you said no.
Correct.
So what's going on? Why aren't you okay? Why aren't you okay? What's going on?
Watch the driver's body language here. Officers are trained to observe more than just what someone says. Balance issues, swaying, delayed responses, confusion, and difficulty following simple instructions can all become important pieces of the overall picture. None of these signs alone automatically prove impairment, but when combined with reports of erratic driving and a failure to respond to emergency lights, they begin forming a pattern that investigators cannot ignore. The deputy continues asking questions because he's trying to determine whether this behavior stems from alcohol, a medical condition, fatigue, or another factor entirely. What stands out most to you in the driver's behavior during this interaction?
As the situation unfolded on the roadside, clearly you could see him dangling from side to side. That's not being inebriated? I don't know what else is. It later felt less like a routine traffic stop and more like an impromptu therapy session. The cop seemed to be channeling his inner Dr. Phil with every word.
So what's going on with you, Mike? 'Cause you're driving all over the road, okay? You ran off the road a couple times, all right? Well, no, it's not fine. That's why you're being stopped. And then we had our lights and sirens on behind you. You weren't stopping for us. So, like, what's going on?
I don't know what you said when you say things are not of.
Well, we got an ambulance coming.
This is where the encounter takes a dramatic turn. Up to this point, the officer has repeatedly attempted to communicate, gather information, and understand what may be affecting the driver. Instead of providing clarification, the conversation quickly shifts into hostility and personal insults. From a law enforcement perspective, verbal aggression often signals that cooperation is breaking down, making the situation more difficult to manage safely. What's notable here is that the officer doesn't appear distracted by the insults themselves. His focus remains on the investigation and maintaining control of the scene. Encounters like this often become defining moments because emotions can either escalate the situation or be successfully managed despite the tension.
The moment the suspect realized that all right won't fly as an excuse for reckless driving, he transformed into a full-blown Karen mode.
26
Well, you're an asshole.
I'm not being an asshole.
Yeah, you are an asshole.
Nope, not yet. Okay. Well,
Asshole.
hands behind your back.
Yeah.
All right?
That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yep. Absolutely. Took him showing his ass, man.
Look at me, this shit.
Mike, you're under arrest for driving under the influence.
That's great.
I know I'm an asshole.
It's Sunday.
Once the arrest decision is made, the focus shifts from investigation to accountability. The deputy has now gathered information from the original driving complaint, the driver's actions during the stop, his physical behavior, and his interaction with law enforcement. Perhaps even more surprising is the revelation that this is not the driver's first DUI-related encounter. Repeat DUI offenses are often treated much more seriously because they involve ongoing public safety concerns. Every impaired driver on the road creates a risk not only for themselves but also for innocent motorists sharing that roadway. Looking back at the stop, which moment do you think most strongly influenced the deputy's decision to make the arrest?
The suspect didn't hold back in calling the cops a mix of different bad words, but despite his feelings, he still got arrested, learning the hard way that being a loose cannon wasn't a valid excuse even on a Sunday. And if it weren't shocking enough, Mike wasn't exactly a newcomer to these arrests, as he had a history of DUIs. This time, he earned himself a 4th felony DUI charge and a mandatory.
This case demonstrates how a traffic stop can quickly evolve into a serious criminal investigation. Deputies initially responded to reports of dangerous driving that nearly resulted in a head-on collision. Throughout the encounter, officers worked through several possibilities, including a medical emergency, impairment, and driver confusion. As more indicators emerged, including erratic driving behavior, difficulty complying with commands, and escalating hostility, deputies ultimately determined there was probable cause for a DUI arrest. The outcome serves as a reminder of the importance of proactive enforcement when potentially impaired drivers pose a threat to public safety. What are your thoughts on how officers handled this situation from start to finish? If you found this breakdown as intense as we did, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life body cam breakdowns.
Stay at the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility with a steep $26,000 bond to ponder. If this suspect oozes strong Karen vibes, wait till you meet the upgraded version of this situation.